Welcome to Grawlix Nights, the Grawlix Podcast live show. I'm Randy.
I'm Melanie.
And I'm Jesse.
Hey, everybody. Here's what's on the agenda tonight. We're just chatting. Just chatting. You know, that is a valid... I'd say there's a solid chunk of live streams that are just chatting.
Yeah. Sometimes the best parts.
Yeah.
So... that's what we're doing.
Little chat man do.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of goes against my everything as a podcaster to live streams are difficult, as you know, with our background, or at least my background of trying to dominate all the no dead silence, no quiet.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of live streams are just sitting there for a second, reading comments, waiting for a thing to happen. Hey, a thing is happening. Before all that happens, though, how are you two doing?
Doing all right.
I'm all right.
I feel we're going to be very low energy tonight. This is going to be the NPR of Grawlix episodes.
Oh, boy.
But we're going to keep it tidy and whitey. So.
Tidy and whitey. That was my nickname in shop class.
Was shop class specifically?
Yeah, ready, tidy. Well, I was tidy and whitey.
Oh, I see. I get it. Well, we'll talk a little bit. What?
Sorry, I was just meaning brief. Sorry.
I gotcha.
It wasn't good. You can groan at me this time.
Oh, something's happened to Melanie, by the way. She'll send me. Well, she always sends me memes. She's the meme-stress, but she's been sending me puns, not good puns, and I'll be like,
oh, all
I'll
right.
be like,
They're
oh,
okay?
I'll be like, oh, and she's like, what? It was funny. I'm like, what happened to you? You used to be the hater of puns.
It's called 10 years of dealing with us. With this.
They are two good ones. You just don't have good taste.
That's what I've been saying for 10 years.
So, Jesse, you've converted her or infected her. I'm not sure how it works.
I don't either. I don't know. I just woke up one day and it was like this. I was like, why are these so funny?
I don't know. I think it depends on the word for me sometimes too.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So hey guys, what have you been up to? You've been watching, consuming, reading, listening to anything interesting? What have you been doing? Anything interesting that people might want to hear about?
I did watch Dream Scenario.
Oh, did you? Yeah, we don't have Max right now. You sent that message and I was like, oh.
It's good. It's A24, so it's proper weird,
Is it? It's an A24? It's an A24 joint? Yeah. I didn't realize that.
So, you go in knowing it's going to be weird because the trailer alone shows you that it's weird, right? But, it's one of those things where it's so the premise of the movie is that Nick Cage's character, who is just this innocuous dude that's not even very memorable, just starts showing up in everyone's dreams. And so it makes him kind of as this complete unmemorable nobody, makes him pretty notable all of a sudden, right? Because he's in everybody's dreams, and he's just there. He's not doing anything of worth or anything, but it's such a perfect. It had to be written for him. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's I can't see anybody else doing this role. It's such a Nick Cage role because he's just awkward and kind of unlikable. It's one of those. He's got a couple of characters, right? He can roll into a few. But that's the flavor he's bringing with this one is like, you don't like hate him, but you really don't like him either. Like you feel
Interesting.
bad for him, but also he gets in his own way so often that you're just like, yeah, just stop it. Just quit.
Yeah.
Right.
So then when the other shoe drops and the dreams go from him just standing around doing nothing to being genuinely disturbing, like he shows up in people's dreams and starts causing some freaking trauma, like, and people can't, like, they can't even look at him now, like in real life. And he didn't do anything, but he's just not handling it well either. Like throughout, he's just like, I wouldn't be, like if there was terrible things happening, I wouldn't just stand there and do nothing. Right. You know that about me. It's like, quit picking on your daughter. Like she can't, it's not her fault that you did nothing in the dream. Like give it a break, but like, then later on, it's like, oh no, he's doing some legit horrible stuff. Like he beats a dude to death with a wrench kind of thing in the dream. So like people can't they don't want to be in the same restaurant as him. And yeah, he just doesn't handle it well. And it just goes off the rail. And you watch this man slowly, like everything about his life just falls apart.
Wow.
Interesting.
It's like, whoa.
What is it called again?
Dream scenario.
Okay, that's right. Okay.
So there's like some dream demon that hates him and is putting him in people's nightmares or something. Or I'm not. That's just what it sounds like. I'm not saying that.
Oh yeah.
That's what it is.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I definitely want to check it out.
Oh, it's worth it. It's definitely worth a watch.
Well, maybe we'll have to do a deeper dive into it once me and Melanie and I watch it.
I love a good Nick Cage movie. I love a bad Nick Cage movie. This is a good one.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I hadn't heard too much about it, but maybe a little mixed reviews, but whatever. I need to not listen to reviews anyway.
Right.
It's kind of realistic too because like I've had dreams where Randy was being mean and doing bad things, and I woke up angry at him, and I'm like, "You in my dream."
Yeah, but you don't take it out. You don't like actually take it out on me.
Yeah.
What this movie sounds like is somebody who maybe lived with somebody that I grew up with who would have dreams where you did something wrong and then be mad at you in real life all day. That's a D-bag move. Don't do that. If you have a bad dream about somebody, it's not their fault at all.
But that's all you.
Don't actually, yeah, that's all you. That's your brain that did that. Don't actually take it out on them and act like a D-bag all day. Don't do that. And this movie sounds like maybe the writer has that experience.
Right.
Who knows? Who knows where this idea comes from? But it's intriguing. It's an intriguing idea.
Mm-hmm.
Man, and it goes into some weird places too. Like it like slants off into this whole like corporatization of things kind of deal too,
interesting.
where it's just like, was it Paul got into all of our dreams, and if he can do it, so can we. And so now we have dreamfluencers.
Okay.
It just takes this
okay.
really bizarre like left turn at one point. So I can see where some of the criticism comes from, because like there's points where it's like, what is this movie trying to be now? Like at one point you think you know what the movie is, and then it seems like it takes another left, and then you're like, and then it comes back to Paul, and you're like, man, what is this show? But
it reminds me of some self-help episodes that we have edited before, but kind of wonky, not wonky, but where they had a couple that does lucid dreaming, and then they have shared lucid dreaming, and I'm like, that's impossible, but okay, sure.
right.
Yeah, there's some people that like have tall tales and they just roll with it, I think. Yeah, the reviews on this are all over the place, because where does Google pull this review from? Because Google's reviews, like summary of the Google user, like, because you can review stuff through like on Google, right? Like it's
Sure.
It's sitting at a 2.7 out of 5. with
Really?
the majority being 1 stars. They're like, there are a lot of 1 stars. However, it's got a 91% Rotten Tomatoes, 74% Metacritic, and 7 out of 10 on IMDb. So it's just kind of all over the place. But
really.
if it's super weird, you know, I'm going to assume people that rate things on Google are maybe more general audience, like as a whole,
Yeah.
general audience minded. And weird things don't always jive with general audiences.
Oh, that's interesting because if you look at Rotten Tomatoes, it's 91% with the tomato meter, but
That's critics.
the audience score is sitting at 68%.
Right, which still isn't like rotten, but
Sure,
yeah,
but
yeah,
it's a lot less
definitely
than 91%. You know,
it's if it's weird like you say, and it sounds like it is, that sounds like something that's going to appeal to critics over, you know, movie buffs or whatever over general audiences for sure.
Yeah.
It reminds me, just because it's like a weird premise, although it's different. It's if Nicolas Cage is just like a dude, but it reminds me of Being John Malkovich in a way. The premise,
yeah.
where and Being John Malkovich is okay. Actually, it's got a pretty high audience score, but I figured it'd have a similar split, but anyway.
They could have had him go crazy and don like knife glove and start taking people's children. And
Big Freddy.
Well,
Yeah.
they play into that where
do
it's
they?
like so like he doesn't do any of that, but like the kids at school that go to school with his daughter are calling him Freddy Krueger, and like his whole thing is he's like trying to parlay his sudden fame into something else. Like he just wants to publish a book. Like it all starts with this gal that's gonna be publishing stuff based on things he talked about way back in college or something, and he's like, just cite me, just give me credit or whatever, you know. And she's like, no, because just because we looked at the same stuff doesn't mean I stole this idea from you. I've been working on this for like years, and that was like, 20 years ago or something like that, and but he just is just like, he can't handle it. He's just kind of a snowflake about a lot of things. Very thin-skinned. Thinks everything's about him, and except for the things that he doesn't want to be about him.
It sounds like somebody channeling. Speaking of John Malkovich, it kind of sounds like somebody channeling. What's his name? Was it Charlie Kaufman? Is that his name? Who wrote that? Anyway, him being a writer kind of pushes it even more into that kind of thing.
Is he the one that did that weird thing with the janitor in the hallway?
Yes.
He's such a weird guy, and he always makes it about him, and that's weird.
That's exactly it. It's kind of like how a lot of there's a weirdly large number of Stephen King characters who are alcoholic writers. It's like that, right?
Right.
Like a Kaufman movie, there's a weirdly large number of the protagonists are always like overly sensitive, neurotic dudes who are usually some type of artist or if not a writer,
Right, yeah.
Right.
But that's okay. There's place for those people, that kind of art.
What's funny because then like when everything goes dark, he like he kind of has to embrace the Freddy Krueger thing. So like he's got to take pictures with that knife glove, and he doesn't like it. Like he's not trying to be controversial or divisive or anything, but he also is very controversial and divisive. Like. Yeah. And then he's like trying not to, but like when everything twists, they're like, well, we were thinking maybe we could get you booked on some shows like Rogan or Tucker Carlson, or you've got kind of a weird, alt-right fan base suddenly, and you're big in France for some reason.
Wait, is this supposed to be about Elon Musk?
I don't know. It's almost like it's kind of poking that bear a little bit. I don't know.
Right.
Because he just
Interesting.
keeps making everything worse.
Okay. Well, you know what? I did watch something. What did I watch? I watched a movie even. Oh, we both, Melanie and I both did. We on Easter, we watched Barfly.
Oh yeah.
I was
His
trying to
mom made
remember
us
what
watch
movie. Barfly. Hold on, I need to pull it up real quick. I like it. I've seen it before, but it's a 1987 movie starring Mickey Rourke before he really fell off and got his face all beat up and his career kind of went downhill. But he plays a barfly who is also a writer, and it's one of those movies where like the plot, it's just people doing things. I mean, I guess that's most plots, right? But it's not like some plot-driven thing. It's just kind of like
Yeah.
a week in a life of these two hardcore alcoholic barflies, and
Like
it's
there's no growth at all.
right.
Oh, it's written by Charles Bukowski.
Yeah.
What did Charles
About Charles Bukowski too.
That was Charles Bukowski. He's a author and a poet that did like
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well then it was I'm gonna guess maybe slightly autobiographical, maybe a little heightened.
Yeah. It's funny because that's like almost, I don't know. It's another flavor of the
Yeah.
same a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
Right. I think it is, as my mom pointed out, it's kind of you can get it now. You can. Oh wow, you have to like buy it on Amazon, like buy the disc or something. Mm-hmm. It's hard to find. I don't know if it's a license issue or whatever. My mom had come across it. I'm guessing on Amazon. You could probably buy it digitally. She had bought it digitally, but like they had it on VHS back in the day, and it's one of those movies my mom and my dad would watch occasionally. They had there's like a certain collection of movies that they'd watch fairly frequently, and but that's one that seemed like it never made it to DVD or Blu-ray or something. Anyway, so it's kind of hard to find, but it's kind of a super dark comedy. Dark in it's not necessarily. I mean, if you think about their actual lives, it's depressing, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's just dark in that, like, it's just
The neighbor beats his
alcoholics.
wife?
What's that?
The neighbor beats his wife all the time, and you can hear it.
Yeah, but even that though, excuse me, is played for laughs in a weird way. Like it's that kind of like. It's humorous. It's got humor to it. There's some really good lines in it. Like it makes sense that it's written by a guy who also is known for his poetry and stuff because it's got some really good lines in it. But yeah, anyway.
I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
the poetry he reads in there, the writings he reads, are actually his.
That would track. I was digging through some of the reviews, and that one caught my eye. I was like, "Oh, brutal!"
That's funny. I see one on Letterboxd that says "dirt poop bad." 1 star.
Wow.
Dirt poop bad.
That's
Such
followed by a 5-star
intelligent.
review that says this movie smells crazy. It's so
man.
interesting. Also, like Mickey Rourke was kind of great, definitely throughout the 80s. But this movie, I'm so on the fence of whether it's a great performance or an unnecessarily over the top performance. But it's funny, just because the way he stresses, it's just so weird the way he stresses everything that it's like a little over the top, but it kind of is what makes it memorable, especially just the line delivery of certain things. Anyway, a barfly, look it up. It's a weird one.
Yeah.
It is a weird one.
That's what I watched. That's what we watched with my mom on Easter.
Easter, man.
Easter Sunday, watching barfly.
It's like every person in there has just the oddest motivation for everything they do. I don't get it. I mean, I don't get them, but you're not supposed to. So
Well, it's like the bartender. So there's not. I mean, there's a little bit. There becomes like a love triangle type thing, which is ridiculous in its own right because the character caught in the middle of it is like the main character Barfly, and he's just like. I will say one thing about Rourke's performance is like he has studied some old alcoholic dudes because just the way he like the walk, he leans forward and it's the jaws out, and he's got like the legs are almost kind of bowed, and he's got the walk down. It's like you've seen that guy stumbling home from the bar, on a Wednesday night.
You see him a mile away, and you just hope he's not going to talk to you.
Yes, exactly. You might live down the hallway from that guy. Who knows?
yeah,
That guy might sing "In the Jungle of the Mighty Jungle" at full volume at 3 a.m. on a
Good
Friday
Lord.
night
because he can't open the door.
because he's too drunk to open his
wet
goddamn door and get inside the house. Anyway, we finished. Also, and I'm not trying to dominate the conversation. We finished our Avatar: The Last Airbender animated series watch through. I don't know if we had finished it last week.
I don't think so.
This was a first time watch for me, and it is legitimately great.
Yep, it is.
I understand the hype. The live action the live action Netflix series right now, it's not doing it. It's not doing it. You got to watch the animated series. It's on Netflix too. Just watch it. Other than some of my frustrations with Aang, Avatar, and occasionally it has that problem that most like comic books and just things have where they have to come up with ways to depower or figure out ways why this character can't get out of a situation. Like my only real criticism of the show is occasionally some of the writing to kind of work around the fact that if Aang or many of the other benders wanted to like remedy this situation, they just could. But the plot doesn't want them to. So that's always a frustration for me. It's like any Superman story. A lot of times you'll come into stuff like that because he's too powerful. But the quality's really good. I was like the last 3 or 4 episodes or whatever, the big climax of the whole series. Fortunately, they did know it was ending, so they were able to wrap up the story. I don't think I've ever seen animation that good in a Western produced, still technically children's cartoon. Like it's high quality anime level animation. I was super impressed by that. Like the action scenes are pretty bonkers, and that's just something I don't think I've ever seen in a Nickelodeon show.
Right.
Nickelodeon kind of, they excel with this stuff, man. Like even the TMNT run that they had was ostensibly one of the best, I know they tried to follow it up with like the Rise of the Mutants or whatever, and I don't know if that one was as well received, but yeah.
I think Avatar did well because when the big series climax is happening, it's like, oh yeah, no, these are like cosmic level powered people in a way. And I think the series did pretty good at, even though I just complained about it writing around certain things, it didn't feel like that was necessarily the level you were dealing with until it's like, oh wait, no, yeah, like the Avatar is potentially a cosmic being level, I don't know, threat or protector or whatever they decide to be. And it
reaches into your soul.
it just portrayed that very well. So I was super impressed. But whatever, the show's super old and everybody knows.
Yeah, but now you do too. So I'm
Yeah.
glad.
I will say, if you've never watched it, it's worth watching through.
I've heard this rolls into Legend of Korra or something like that. Am I thinking of something else?
No,
Legend
yeah,
of
you're right.
Korra,
It's
Legend
like
of Korra is the next Avatar after Aang dies, or Korra is the next Avatar after Aang dies. And there are a couple characters. I think there might be one character that's actually still alive from the first show, but most of them are like their children, or their grandchildren, that you are introduced to. Korra's not related to any of them though. But the problem most people have with it, I think, and kind of me too, is it's the whole world has aged. So it's like the Industrial Revolution has started happening, you know. So it's like steampunk kind of, and it's just a different feel, and so it's just not as good, basically. And
Yeah, I mean
I don't know.
that is quite a departure. I will dive into it at some point. I haven't yet. Excuse me. But that is like going into a kind of a steampunk world, even though there's like little elements of like metal like factories and stuff in this. But this is still heavily like I don't know, I guess Japanese fantasy setting, right? Or just
Well, I think it's
Asian
supposed-
inspired fantasy setting.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's supposed to be multiple Asian cultures in it,
Right.
but it's still all very like not what's the opposite of cities?
Rural?
Yeah, like it all seems like really rural or maybe just old. You know what I mean? Like there's
Yeah.
they just are discovering blimps, kind of a thing. You know, they have ships, but that's about it. So
Right. Yeah, in a certain time period, and then so I mean Industrial Revolution would definitely be
yeah,
steampunk and yeah.
you don't have to ride around on weird like lizard monkeys and whatever anymore. Now you have cars.
You don't have to, but you choose to.
I would choose to. Maybe not the lizard monkey, but some of them.
If you never watched Avatar, all I'm saying is if you never watched Avatar: The Last Airbender animated series, you have to go watch it. That's a
Yeah.
command. Because and I think part of my hesitation for a long time is like, okay, yeah, no, I'm sure it's good, but it's still like a kids cartoon. And it does have the moments of like goofiness. But then like checking out a couple of the episodes of the new live action series, they take out all the fun. Mm-hmm. And they kind of amp up a bit of the violence for sure. But without the fun, like it's not even the same. So I think the original series was at times surprisingly adult and definitely, as I've said before, addresses very, genocide is a major theme throughout the whole thing. That's not something you expect in your children's cartoons, but it's handled very well. It's integral to the like world.
Yeah.
And refugee, like war,
yeah.
refugees,
Imprisonment.
right. But at the same time, you're experiencing this through the adventures of these like children, and it does a good job at balancing that, and it does go occasionally goes a little too goofy, but not that often. Like usually
I think
it's
it's usually
legitimately
just
still
perfect.
fun.
It's usually just perfect enough, and it has little gems like "You're my forever girl," which is just fantastic.
Baby, you're my forever girl. Yeah, yeah. It's a
Yeah.
good show. Anyway, go watch it, Jesse.
All right. Oh man, they just called me out.
Called you out. No, I
right.
mean whatever. I think you though, Jesse, would appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't seen it because it seems totally up your alley.
Again, though, like for me, It was a cartoon show that was definitely after my time. I wasn't watching Nickelodeon, nothing when that was running.
That's the main thing, is that
Right.
it just wasn't, it wasn't airing when I was watching cartoons. That's the only reason I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Because I've heard
Little
nothing but
touches.
good things, from adults who had kids who were watching
Right.
it. They've all said, like, this show is great, and I loved watching it with my kids.
Yeah, and I'm surprised. I was just surprised because you're really into martial arts, right? I mean, I always thought, and they used real martial arts to do the bending moves, and I find that kind of fascinating. But I don't know anything about it,
Right.
But a lot of people,
Right.
yeah.
No, I was just gonna say you were telling me that, like, I mean, obviously the bending isn't like people. It'd be cool if you could do that, but like each different style is based on like a specific
art,
martial
yeah.
arts style. Just little touches like that. Some of the choreography is really good. Yeah,
That makes sense.
Sorry.
I mean, like, yeah,
right.
air bending would be very flowy, and maybe kung fu or wushu.
I have
And
no
good,
idea, but
good character arcs for some of the characters too.
and there's puns. You'll like it. Watch it, Jesse.
Ooh.
Now,
There
now
are
that's my
puns.
mission. I got Randy to do it. Now we got to get Jesse to do it.
It took her a while to get me to watch it. You've been telling me for like the whole time we've been together that I need to watch it.
What's the old man? Like, the old man is a big deal.
Oh, he's my
The
favorite.
uncle?
Yeah,
Uncle
I think
Iroh.
so.
He's
Yeah,
the best.
yeah, Iroh.
He's the best
fun.
character.
It does really good at like a good fantasy movie or something, like that sense of like legitimate adventure, or like a D&D thing, right? Like you get that sense of like they're going around doing things, you get that sense of like they're actually on a journey. It conveys that kind of thing pretty well.
It
Okay.
almost makes me cry. One time, the Uncle Iroh almost makes me cry. It's great. You gotta watch it.
Okay, we're done. We got to stop. We got to stop. We got to stop you going on about the show that ended like 15 years ago or something.
People have been going on about it for the last, I don't know how many, last 15 years.
Since the first season, man, I won't stop.
Can't stop, won't stop.
What else? Melanie or Jesse, you guys got anything else you specifically you want to mention? I don't want to dominate it.
I really didn't watch anything. It was Dream Sequence was the thing I watched yesterday, so I'd have something to talk about.
I don't remember if it was this week or last week, but we watched one episode of the Three Body Problem,
Oh,
Yeah.
and then I read an article that was kind of spoilery. They said it wasn't spoilery, but then they said it had something to do with the Dark Forest.
Are you gonna
solution.
wait? Hey! If it's kind of spoilery, are you about to spoiler it for us?
If you follow science,
Don't spoil it for us.
okay, I won't.
If you just led with like this article was disappointing to you because it said it wasn't spoilery, but it was, so I'm going to tell you what that was.
Well,
Don't-
I don't think that you know this particular theory for the Fermi paradox solution. So I was going to say it, but if you do, then I won't.
I know what that is.
yeah.
Have you covered it on this? Aren't you amazed yet?
The Fermi paradox? I don't know, maybe.
Okay, well,
Mentioned it, but I don't know that you've like covered it top to bottom.
Well, I mean, no.
God, what else
So many
was there?
possibilities.
Yeah, we only watched one episode. We'll go back to that show.
Did you guys watch any more of X-Men 97? Because
I haven't yet.
I haven't like caught up to the latest, but I've heard it's good. I hear it continues to be good.
We watched an episode or two of Invincible. It's good. I think there's only like one episode left of this season that we haven't watched yet. It's like a 7-episode season. So short.
But it's already caught up to where I read to, so I'll have to read more.
Oh, is it caught up to where you read to?
Or if not, then the very beginning of the next season will be there because, yeah, I finished right after this stuff happened.
Man, it hasn't even got to some of my favorite things yet. Darn it.
Yeah, you You tell me that, but then I never got to read it.
Although the first season, like the Nolan twist is great. That's when the show and the comic series like really like hooks you, and you're like, oh no, this is doing something completely else. Yeah. But
Yep. It's good.
that guy, we usually don't cover actors passing away, but that guy passed away. That's not nice to just that guy. Let me get his name.
From
Chance
the boys.
Chance
spin-off.
Perdomo. I'm probably mispronouncing. Wait, is that his name or is that character's name? Yeah, no, Chance. Okay. He played the brother in Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and he was one of the leads in that Gen V, which is the boys spin-off series. And he passed away in a motorcycle accident, which is a bummer because that dude was great. He was like, just pure charisma. I liked him a lot in Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and he was good in Gen V. And it also, obviously, like, they had further plans for Gen V, and he was one of the main lead characters. So,
Up and coming star.
so that throws a wrench into that too. But I don't know.
If anybody's actually listening to this, don't drive motorcycles. They're death machines.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. In fact, if you live in a city, there's a pretty good chance you've come across a scene where that has been on full display for you.
Oh, yeah.
I know Melanie and I both have in Omaha.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, it was... Yeah. Very sad. And my uncle landed on his face when he fell off a motorcycle once, and that was not good. He had to have a lot of reconstructive surgery, and he still rides motorcycles, which I don't understand, but he's lucky to be alive.
Nebraska, I think, just passed some amendment to the helmet law, but I don't know what it was. I'm guessing they're making it so that you don't have to wear one. I don't, because I think you had to before.
Yeah,
but I don't know for sure.
Yeah, you had to at least have the brain bucket or whatever it was.
Exactly. I mean, don't traumatize people any more than you have to, man. Stop being selfish.
Right, that's kind of the thing. Like, forget your injuries. You're gonna traumatize the people that have to watch you die.
Yeah.
At least keep that inside of a car or something.
Yeah.
This is dark. This is why we don't ever talk about these type of stories.
Speaking of Avatar, Last Airbender, on Humble Bundle, they're offering a bundle that has the best of Magpie games. So if you went to grawlixpodcast.com/humble, you could get some Avatar Legends, the role-playing game, core rulebook, and more.
Ooh.
By the way, thank you, Jesse. That was a good. What is this? We Avatar: The Last Airbender RPG. Oh my god!
It made me want to learn how to play Paisho. And I don't know what that is, but it looks like fun. They play it.
This is a weird bundle. What's that?
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, man, that's a lot of different properties right there.
What's that romance book? That looks like a... What is that? This is a weird bundle, man. All right, Humble. Listen, go to grawlixpodcast.com/humble. We're a Humble partner. We'll get a little kickback. Do it.
Well, it makes sense. It's a romance book because, it's a forever girl. So...
Interesting. Man, I hadn't even contemplated that, but yeah, the world of Avatar would be great for a RPG. But whatever, it's basically a fantasy land, so yeah.
Shogun. We watched some Shogun.
Oh, hey. What's going on over on Twitch? Anyone watching Shogun on Hulu? We watched one episode. That was another one that I was intrigued and I want to come back to. But I only had I did a Hulu trial and it's over now. I spent most of the month watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So
You know what's ironic is that did you see in the old Humble Bundle list there that there is a Shogun bundle as well of audiobooks? Boy, oh boy, if you went to grawlixpodcast.com/humble,
you push it hard. Push it too hard.
You could just go ham on some bundles this month.
You know what,
things
though?
we're talking about tonight. But yeah. But back to
Humble
the point.
Humble Bundle. No, Humble Bundles knows what they're doing because that Shogun show just launched.
Yeah.
The live action Avatar series just launched. They know what they're doing. Also, Chatter, The Walking Dead: The Ones Who Live on AMC. I have not checked that out at all. I haven't checked out any Walking Dead since maybe the first season of Fear the Walking Dead, and then approximately that time frame of the main series.
Oh yeah.
We fell off of it, so I'm sorry to say I have not. Jesse, you? I know you kept up with it more than we did.
I watched a little bit further into the main series, but no, I tried to get into Fear the Walking Dead, but I tried that during the pandemic. Not a good time to try to do that. So
Right.
I couldn't even make it through the first season because it's like, oh, they're wearing masks and they're in like quarantines and
Especially Fear, where it's the whole thing was like going back to the outbreak.
yeah. I was like, no, I
Yeah.
can't watch this right now. So I never did go back to it. It's not that I thought it was a bad show. I thought it was really well made. It was maybe a little too well made and ahead of its time. So
Yeah, we had to switch over to some spore evil things instead of
Last of Us.
make me scared of something else like mushrooms.
yeah.
Or something that's going to turn our children into animal people. That's a series I think we felt. I don't think Melanie and I don't know if we ever went back. I fell off.
Season
Sweet
2
Tooth
is interesting too. I mean, the whole thing is interesting.
Yeah.
We fell off of a lot of shows, but let us tell you about Avatar: The Last Airbender, the animated series.
And you know what else? This every time I hear the word Shogun, all I can think is Shogun of Sorrow. So if you haven't seen
Samurai Jack.
Samurai Jack, sorry. Yeah, I had it. It was in my brain, and then I started to talk about it, and it went away. Samurai Jack. That is also an excellent show.
Everybody's
Just as
seen
good as
Samurai
Avatar.
Jack. You know what? They made newer Samurai Jack that I don't think you've seen, Melanie.
Well, then we must get them.
Well, I can't keep track of all this.
But you're the one that knows how.
You
to
need
get
to keep track of
things.
your own fandoms for once. Keep track of your own fandoms
Hey.
other than Avatar.
I've told you a million of times what my dream job is, but you don't ever want to help me achieve it. I want to be a space pirate, and I can figure out the space on my own. You got to help me with the pirate part.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I understand. You want an eye patch and a parrot and a
Pig leg.
A hook
good old case of scurvy.
Yep.
when life won't give you lemons.
Yep.
Get scurvy?
Yeah, you get scurvy when life doesn't give you lemons.
Well, I'd hesitate to say that's amazing.
It is amazing.
Oh, okay. I'll tell you what is amazing. Tits. Okay.
No, you
According-
can't. No, nope. Beep. You can't. Baby.
What? I'm talking about birds.
But you need to make sure it's clear the context of which you speak
Well,
of.
I was going to continue. Let me continue. Okay, according to a new study, a small songbird, the Japanese tit, seems to gesture, with a fluttering wing movement to signal after you, similar to the way that humans would extend an arm to let another person go first. It seems to only occur between mated pairs, and one of them will gesture to the other to go first into their nest. And the observation challenges conventional wisdom about symbolic gestures thought only capable by humans and other great apes. But in 2016, this same species of bird made the news when evidence was reported of compositional syntax in its calls. So the ability to combine communication units into phrases, and it's the first time it was ever seen in the animal kingdom, which in itself is amazing. But they kept studying it because of that, trying to find out more about their communication, and that's how they discovered the gesturing. And now they confirm that they have like 8 pairs, so 16 birds altogether, have been documented displaying the behavior repeatedly. And then there's a bunch more I didn't want to get into about the minutia of it, but the big overall take is the results suggest that perhaps more animals could be discovered to have more intricate communication than we're aware of if we actually take the time to observe and study. And I'm like, duh, because yeah, you know what, Bonsai used to go and I kept the litter scoop in a plastic bag, hanging kind of off to the side of the litter box. If he wanted me to scoop his litter box, he would go and claw that thing down and drag it into the litter box and then meow at me. Come on. You know?
Right.
Whatever. Sometimes science is so stupid.
Yeah, this is there's like a good, it's a small percentage, but there's a percentage of the science stories that you do on the show, and or just tell me that it's just at the end you're just like, well, duh. But I guess nobody had taken the time or thought to specifically study this thing to confirm it. But yeah, no, that is interesting because, man, so many people really downplay how intelligent animals
Yeah, they
are.
do.
And
they do.
I mean, part of it's probably I don't want to necessarily feel bad for all the stuff we do to animals, but
Well, yeah.
people do not, I don't know, man, people do not give animals enough credit for their intelligence.
Yeah.
Man, I've gotten in arguments with people where they're not as important as us. They don't matter. We're better than them, and for obviously, well, why? Obviously, because there's more of us, and we have more stuff. You know, a life to them is just as important as a life to us. One of ours isn't worth all of them. Come on.
I'm just a simple man.
Just a simple man.
I'm just a simple man. When I see a cow, I eat that cow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got to bring it back to the inside jokes, the pre-show jokes, guys.
Right.
Also, you know what I gleaned from this amazing tidbit this week? That the theme of this show really was that we were winging it. And so are they.
Yeah.
And so are they.
Yep. And so are they.
Yep.
And their winging it might have more intention and meaning than our winging it.
Yeah.
And they're using actual wings.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they've done that in like so many Disney movies. I'm pretty sure where the birds are like, oh, come on, with their wing. It had to be real. Come on.
Yeah.
Along enough timeline, everything in a Disney movie becomes true.
Right. And sometimes they just buy The Simpsons so that they can claim it was them.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Well, listeners, maybe this will teach you to stop being so self-centered and selfish and look at the rest of the world and consider it just as important as you, and maybe things will start to get better.
And if not, you can role play as some kind of bird or a hamster or whatever in the game Roots, which you can find in that bundle on Humble Bundle if you use the link grawlixpodcast.com/humble.
Or watch the Avatar series, and it talks all about balance. That's the theme,
That's
man.
right.
Balance.
That's right. And you know what birds need to fly on? Air.
A stream.
Air. Yeah.
A stream of air. Yeah.
They could fly for many yards, I reckon. Many stream yards. StreamYard.com.
Wow. Hey, look at that.
That's like if we're just devolving into like random in-jokes interspersed with like promotional messages. StreamYard.com. Hey, you want to do a live stream like this, only maybe better? Probably better. in terms of hosting and content. StreamYard.com. Content. You know what? No. You're probably...
We talked
just
about
gonna be on-
Japanese tits today.
We did.
I was gonna say you guys kept going on your like little thing a second ago. I was gonna make a joke about people don't appreciate the small Japanese, but anyway, StreamYard.com if you want to not talk about that. Do a live stream, have guests, have co-hosts, do a webinar. Super easy. Stream to multiple platforms at once. Right now we're streaming. We're wasting viewers' time on Facebook, on like 3 Facebook pages, YouTube, and Twitch, all at the same time. Super easy, barely an inconvenience. I don't know. I'm stealing
To us, it
yeah.
may be a big inconvenience to you, the viewer.
And if we were interesting enough, we could actually all chat together in one place too,
true.
which is pretty cool. Being able to speak to different platforms all at once.
Oh yeah. The chat pulling in multiple messages from different platforms. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We used to do that when we had more viewers.
Yeah.
We need to end this show. All right. By the way, yeah, no, that was a promotional message, sponsored message. StreamYard.com. Go give it a try. Why I'm the only one? Why? I think I just answered your question with my stammering and stuttering.
We were trying to keep it tidy and whitey.
Don't say it like that. That sounds real bad. We're not trying to keep it anything like that. Jesse
Brief.
sometimes is tidy and whitey. We're not trying to keep it anything.
In shop class. That's
In shop class.
what they call me. Tidy and
Out-
whitey.
out
Righty
of
tidy, I'm tidy and whitey.
Out of context, just saying we're trying to keep it tidy and whitey. That does not sound good.
It
Everybody
doesn't
knows what
sound
tidy
bad
whities
either.
are.
What are you saying?
Chicago
Underwears.
Faucet. Oh well, we are just about to end the show. I'm sorry, but I appreciate that you tuned in at all. We'll be back next week, most likely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Because Jesse has a job.
Yeah, we've been
And
going for about an hour. It's 52 minutes right now. Not even an hour. We can't be streaming for like 6 hours at a time. Sometimes it feels like that.
we used to. I mean, no, we didn't stream. I guess.
We're just like making this more and more somber. Like, well,
We're getting
sometimes
old.
it feels
We're too
like
old
we're
for this.
really on a long time.
Let's talk about actors who died again.
Let's do that. Yeah. What was the topic? The topic. Well, we were winging it, but we talked about things that we were watching, like Dream Scenario starring Nicolas Cage.
Some cartoons from 15 years ago.
Yep.
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yep.
Great.
Animated
You've watched it
series.
if you haven't.
The topic was all over the place, but yeah. Let's see. The too long didn't read summary would be Jesse recommends Dream Scenario starring Nicolas Cage as a dude who appears in everyone's dream for some reason.
Yeah.
Dreams in the world, which is something I do want to watch. We will talk about that again in the future once Melanie and I get a chance to watch it. Melanie and I went on way too long about Avatar: The Last Airbender, the animated series, because it's great. The Dream Scenario based on a urban legend. You know, yeah, I have heard something about like there's a person that appears in lots of people's dreams, like a specific person.
Is it Cat Williams? Because he was in my dream last night.
Really? He's been in the news
Wow.
lately. I feel like maybe not for good reasons, but I don't know for sure.
No, he wasn't really in my dream. He was on my T-shirt in my dream, but they said it was the perfect shirt for me, and I was like, oh, okay.
Really? That's pretty tame for your dreams. Your dreams get very strange sometimes.
Well, that was just
And
the
then
end of it.
You guys talked about Charles Bukowski somehow.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Barfly, a 1987 movie starring Mickey Rourke. We watched that on Easter. It's a dark comedy about barfly alcoholics. And watch that too. Recommended.
Family tradition.
And then we talked about Japanese tit birds.
Tit mouse. Or no, that's a mouse. Japanese tit. That's all it's called.
Well, I know, but
Which
I
is
wanted
a
to
type of
specify.
bird. Yeah.
I wanted to specify that it was a bird. Yes. They talk with their wings and they have punctuation and stuff, basically.
No, phrases.
Right.
They have syntax.
And I made everything a commercial tonight.
Yep.
I bet.
Yeah.
What
Next
is the
time I
internet
won't
even
choose.
good for? Can't even search things up anymore.
Next time I won't choose my science stories based on funny words. I'll be more professional about it.
Well, you can. You just then have to be careful with how you lead with it instead of just like, I want to talk about tits. As in the birds.
Yeah.
Because there's a fine line.
It's mighty fine.
I think the inner tubes are clogged. The internet feels small and boring now. It used to feel vast and endless. Social media ruined it. Do we want to go on that tirade again? We don't need to. We need to end the show.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Thanks for listening. Jesse, was there anything you wanted to mention? Are you doing anything? Okay.
Well, I've got a show in mid-April, but yeah,
Okay.
We'll probably have another show before then. So yeah, you can come see me in Lincoln around the 19th of April if you're in Lincoln.
Chicago Faucet. If there's one person watching, it's worth. I'm sorry, Jesse. It's worth staying on if there's a person watching. We're wrapping up. I'm sorry. What date and where, Jesse? I talked over you.
April 19th, that weekend. 19th, 20th, and 21st.
Okay. Well, tomorrow night will also be streaming for 2 hours.
Oh, that's
but
right.
not on here. And most of it will actually be music. Edge of the Abyss. If you like heavy metal, extreme metal, death metal, black metal, like heavy stuff, check it out at rockradio.live. Edge of the Abyss is the name of the show. I'll be doing that at 8 p.m. Central Time to 10. And if you want, you can actually listen to replays now. I've got replays of all the previous episodes, so you could go listen to it now if you really wanted to, a previous episode to kind of gauge if you're going to be interested in the live broadcast or not. But that's what I'm doing tomorrow.
For that now. Like I'm gonna test out this Android app for Mr. Lapani.
Yeah.
There we go.
And if you're in North America on the 7th or 8th, I can't remember which, there's going to be an eclipse. Watch
That's
it. Get
right.
some glasses and watch it.
Yeah, get a magnifying glass.
With the glasses on, though.
Yeah.
Not a magnifying glass.
No.
Don't watch through there. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. Mm-hmm. We'll talk to you next week.
Probably.
And grawlixpodcast.com.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bye.